question. My third piece of advice would be he's a queer ally. He's very supportive of like the trans community. I think a lot of vegan businesses that popped up in the last like 10, 15 years, they saw that veganism was becoming profitable. And the only time I had to experiment with vegan food was in my school nights. Don't be afraid to do that because the algorithm and the way that it works often rewards that sort of stuff.
Hey und herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Folge vom Plantbased Podcast. Erste Folge von Staffel 6. Ich freue mich, dass ihr wieder am Start seid. Jo. Staffel 6 ist da und zwar mit einem ganz besonderen ersten Gast, Richard Makin. Richard ist auch bekannt als Schoolnightvegan. Wahrscheinlich kennt ihr ihn durch seine Kochbücher oder auch durch Instagram. Dort folgen ihm hunderttausende Menschen und das zu Recht, denn seine Rezepte sind ganz, ganz besonders. Ich habe ihn hier in Bali getroffen und wir tauschen uns auf Englisch darüber aus, was seine Intention war, dahinter das Ganze zu machen, wie schwer oder einfach es ist, was seine Struggles sind und wir sprechen auch ganz ehrlich über das, was mit der LGBTQ-Szene in UK gerade passiert, denn das ist absolut nicht cool. Schaut rein, lasst ein Like da, lasst ein Abo da, denn 80% von euch haben den Kanal noch nicht abonniert, deshalb jetzt abonnieren. Viel Spaß mit dieser ganz besonderen Folge. Ich freue mich, dass ihr wieder am Start seid. Staffel 6 geht genau jetzt los. Hey together, welcome to the Plantbased Podcast here out of Bali. How you can see here, I have a very, very special guest today. So welcome, Richard. Nice to have you on my podcast. Everyone knows you under the name Schoolnightvegan.
Yeah.
And you are a bestseller author for cookbooks. You have a really creative title. We go to this after this. The Independent has wrote about your cookbook. You're one of the 14 best cookbooks of 2024. On Instagram, you have over 500,000 people which follow you and your recipes. What did I forget about you to say?
Oh God, lots of things. Cripplingly anxious, very British Northerner. loads of negative stuff you missed, but yeah, no, this is my vibe, and it's crazy to be meeting you here in Bali because we're both European, but we came all this way to meet in Asia.
Absolutely.
But this is serendipity, right? This is how this stuff works.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I've just seen on Instagram that you're here, and I thought, okay, I have to meet him because I follow you plenty of times. And, I like your recipes
thanks, Yannick.
What you do. But before we jump into what you're doing and how you become what you do, let's talk about why you are in Bali and what are we doing today here.
Right.
I just read something about puppies.
Yes.
but you can explain it better than me.
Yeah,
right?
sure. So I'm here as part of a getaway. Basically, I work with the Getaway Co., which is a fully vegan vacation company. They host vegan group vacations around the world throughout the year. They do locations like Italy, Croatia, obviously Bali. They just launched 3 Japanese trips.
Cool.
And Bali was the original location. It was the first trip that they ever launched.
All right.
And so this is their tried and tested, super organized location. All the trips are organized, but this one they've done 1 million times. And this is my first time in Bali, so I'm lucky enough to do this trip.
Nice.
But yeah, as part of the trip, they always host every year this sort of vegan fundraising lunch for BAWA, which is the Bali Animal Welfare Association. They bring some of their puppies along who are rescue dogs from the streets of Bali. And we just eat some food, make some donations, play with some puppies. People from outside the getaway are welcome to come. You're going to attend. And it's just a nice way of raising a little bit of money and giving back to Bali because it's hosted the Getaway Co. for so many years. And BAWA are an incredible organization that look after not just street dogs, but wildlife as well as other stray animals around Bali. So they're great.
Do, absolutely. I love that you support BAWA because I've been at BAWA at the animal shelter some weeks ago, and we've done a video about them and interviewed them and stuff. And there I've seen how much passion they all have.
Right.
They do it really for the purpose and really to help the people. So they need every donation. Even if you guys look here and have some money on the side, just spend it to BAWA or donate it to BAWA. They really need the money.
They've had a particularly tough time as
Yes.
well because it's been incredibly rainy this season.
Right.
Obviously, climate change is real, and it's bringing everything sort of earlier. So the rainy season wouldn't normally have happened at this point. So, and also infrastructure here in Bali just kind of isn't prepared for that.
True.
And it seems like that they really struggled with that some of the rescue centers and stuff, a bunch of their dogs were lost as well, which is just so terrible. So yeah, if you can donate to Bauer, maybe you'll put a link in the show notes or something.
I do, absolutely.
Yeah.
You will find it here in the show notes. And yeah, we talked about the Getaway CO and all of the stuff you've done here, but if you have to pick out one thing, which is like your favorite part of this journey, do you have one thing you can like recommend to people which come to Bali? You have to say you have to go there.
Oh gosh, I mean we only have 2 days left now, so we've pretty much done the entire trip. So it's been packed. Like the whole schedule is absolutely jam packed. We went to one of the temples and we did a ceremony with the guys there, and it was, I'm not a spiritual person, I'm not religious at all, but there was just something so like meditative about it, and I sort of went into this weird state that was like kind of eye-opening for me. I really wasn't expecting to feel that way about that part of the trip, so that was amazing. That was I'll pronounce this wrong, but Ulaanbaatar.
I think that's right.
Yeah, it's one of the huge temples out here, and it was beautiful. Just the location, it was on the Lake Batur, so it was like stunning, really peaceful. What else? Oh, we swam in a waterfall as well. Again, I'm never going to be able to pronounce that, so I'm not even going to try. But we did a little hike down to this waterfall. Just like floated and swam, and just it felt so clean, and it's sort of in the middle of the jungle. It's just something you literally cannot do in the UK where I'm from. So it was incredible, really beautiful.
Okay, it sounds like you enjoyed the whole journey, and you said like the ceremony was like eye-opening a little bit. And yeah, I think we talk between a little bit more about the getaway and stuff. But yeah, if we talk about something eye-opening, my podcast is called Plantbased.
Right.
And yeah, my magazine is This is Vegan, and we talk much about like veganism and animal rights and stuff like this. So like I know about on your social media, you maybe live vegan. Yeah, what was your journey to go vegan, and why? And yes.
I was raised by, my mum is incredibly passionate about animal rights, and I was born in the 80s. Don't want to out myself as being very, very old, but she was kind of scared at that point to raise a vegetarian child, let alone a vegan child, because at that point people were like, kids need protein or whatever, or it's not possible to do. So I wasn't raised as a vegetarian or a vegan. But my mum and dad were vegetarian while I was growing up, so I was kind of exposed a lot. They never held back. They always told us where meat comes from, where dairy comes from, all of that sort of stuff. But they let us make our own decision about what we ate. And I was probably about 5 or 6 when I made the switch to vegetarian, largely because my older sister, who's 5 years older than me, also switched to vegetarian around that time. And I really look up to her, still do. And so, yeah, I made the switch to vegetarian at that point. I was veggie until 2017.
Okay.
So most of my life, essentially. And at that point, I worked in food. I had started a street food company in London. I was selling ice cream, not vegan ice cream, but regular ice cream. And I was very hands-on. As you probably know, it's very expensive to run any business in London.
It is, yeah.
So I had to do basically everything, and that involved making the ice cream from scratch. And I got exposed a lot to just the quantity of dairy that I was using, a lot of milk, a lot of cream, a lot of eggs.
Yeah.
And that in itself was kind of sickening. Knowing what I knew, we all sort of put the blinkers on before you make that switch to being vegan. Yes. I knew what I knew, and I liked to sort of shut that out to make life a little bit easier. But I also ended up sharing a production premises with this vegan street food company as well. And they were called Eat Chai. They were this vegan Vietnamese street food company. Liz and Joe, I love you forever. They don't trade anymore, but they were essentially the first people that taught me that vegan food can be incredibly delicious.
It can.
I had all of those same sort of prejudices about vegan food as everyone else does. And they would feed me lunch practically every day. And they were the first people that showed me that I can do this. Like, you can be a foodie, you can love food and prioritize like the pleasure of food and be a vegan at the same time.
Absolutely.
And so I sort of just ran out of excuses at that point. And that was around the time, that was probably 2016. I had watched all of the documentaries, What the Health and Cowspiracy and all of that stuff. And I just, like I say, I ran out of excuses. I was in Toronto at the time. My husband works in TV and he was filming a show in Toronto. And Toronto is very vegan friendly as well.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And we were there for a month. And so I just said, well, why don't we just try and do this for a month? Why don't we just try and be vegan while we're here in Toronto? And then as the story often goes, it just never stopped.
Amazing. And now it's part of your job. And
I'm a professional vegan.
You're a professional vegan. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
We talk a little bit later about like business and stuff. But what I want to ask you is, you live with now vegan since 2017, right?
17, yeah.
Yeah, and about this journey, was there like a hurdle or something what was really hard for you in this part? Like you think, oh my God, I can't switch cheese, or I want to get back to this, or was it all the time easy?
I always say I was very lucky in the sense that, first of all, I was transitioning from veggie to vegan, and that as a step is just so much easier than being like a full, omnivore to a vegan. So that was kind of ameliorated the pain of the transition a little bit. But I was also lucky in the sense that it was my career. Like at the same time as transitioning to vegan, I transitioned to a food creator. I started Schoolnightvegan basically to log the recipes that I was trying at home and to make sure I didn't forget how to make like a vegan lasagna or whatever, because I'm very forgetful. But it was easier for me because I was surrounded by food all day, every day. And I didn't have to like go and do a 9-to-5 job and think about my meals in advance and think about coming home exhausted and making dinner at the end of the day. It was my job. So I was surrounded by increasingly delicious vegan food, like as I got better and better at cooking vegan. But that being said, a lot of people say cheese. A lot of people say cheese was difficult to give up. I had no problem giving up cheese. I did used to eat a lot of cheese as a vegetarian, but for some reason that wasn't the tricky one for me. It was eggs.
Okay.
I just think eggs, like as a sort of nutritional meal, I would often just put a fried egg on some rice and veggies and call it dinner, or I would like make scrambled eggs or make an omelette, and that was my entire dinner. But in the end, I just learned the magic of tofu, and tofu, it's part of the reason why
it's so delicious.
Yeah, my cookbook has a vegan fried egg on the front cover, and that was one of the things that I was, hell bent on veganizing, because fried eggs were a big deal for me. And again, I just use tofu to do that, tofu and rice starch, and it's easy and delicious and nutritious.
Easy and delicious, yeah. Don't eat like tofu in normal style without like spices and stuff. It's not like, most time it's not so good. I think the same with tempeh. Yeah, you need to know like the how to do it, and
at least to begin with as well. Like if you're new to tofu or you're new to tempeh, like season the crap out of it. Like give it as much flavor as you possibly can.
True.
Ease yourself in. Whereas now, like I'll walk into the fridge and get a block of tofu and just bite the tofu. I love it so much. So yeah, I guess it's the same as eating a boiled egg or something like that. It feels just convenient.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like the smoked tofu. You just can eat it like directly.
Ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go.
Also, 5-spice tofu, I get this from my Asian supermarket back home.
Okay.
It's like vacuum packed and it's pre-marinated in like 5-spice and soy sauce and stuff like. Some of them contain fish sauce. Avoid those ones, but there are plenty of vegan ones out there, and they're really firm, really firm, and so tasty. That's my go-to for like a car snack if I'm doing a long journey.
Okay.
It's incredible.
I have to try it. Now I'm really hungry. Ein ganz großes Problem ist, dass weltweit 2,5 Milliarden Tonnen an Lebensmitteln in der Tonne landen. Damit könnten wir alle hungernden Menschen auf der ganzen Welt 3-mal ernähren. Wer dafür verantwortlich ist, alle schieben sich die Schuld gegenseitig hin und her. Fakt ist, dass in der Lebensmittelindustrie bzw. im Lebensmitteleinzelhandel in Supermärkten nur Lebensmittel eingekauft werden, die noch mindestens 50% des Haltbarkeitsdatums haben. Heißt, alle anderen wandern in die Tonne. Zum Glück, und dass das nicht mehr passiert, gibt es so coole Läden und Online-Shops wie Surplus, denn die retten Lebensmittel, egal ob es über Haltbarkeitsdatum ist oder kurz davor. Ihr könnt alles dort shoppen, bis zu 90% Rabatt gibt es und es gibt eine monatliche Box. Und im November habe ich das große Vergnügen, mit drin sein zu dürfen und meine Geschichte zu erzählen. Ja, es gibt ein großes Interview mit mir, das ihr da drin lesen könnt, denn es gibt immer noch ein Magazin dazu, es gibt auch ein Kochbuch diesmal dazu. Ihr könnt das als Abo bestellen, das ist jeden Monat ganz easy nach Hause bekommt. Oder auch zum Testen könnt ihr es einfach mal ausprobieren. Ihr habt einen riesen Warenwert, ihr spart einen Haufen Geld, ihr tut was Gutes damit. Und was ich auch noch richtig cool finde, pro Bestellung werden 2 Mahlzeiten für hungernde Menschen in Afrika gesponsert. Über 1 Million Mahlzeiten wurden schon gesponsert für hungernde Menschen auf der ganzen Welt. Und Surplus macht noch so viel mehr Gutes. Schaut unbedingt im Online-Shop vorbei. Und ihr könnt jetzt auch noch mal on top sparen, also bis zu 90% Rabatt plus, also richtig crazy, mit dem Code ThisIsVegan15 gibt 15% Rabatt auf eure Bestellung. Checkt's unbedingt ab, probiert's aus, schaut bei Surplus vorbei, lest das Interview mit mir. Ich bin sehr stolz und vielen Dank an Raphael und Co. Checkt's ab, ihr wisst, große Empfehlung von mir. Und was auch noch cool ist, ich kann schon mal spoilern, in der neuen Staffel gibt es eine neue Folge mit Raphael und mir und es gibt auch eine umgekehrte Folge. Raphael wird mich interviewen. Das heißt, wenn ihr Fragen an mich habt, schickt sie an Raphael auf Instagram, habe ich unten verlinkt. Und ja, er wird mir die Fragen stellen. Jetzt viel Spaß beim Weiterschauen. ThisIsVegan15, unbedingt bei Surplus vorbeischauen. Your cookbook is called Anything You Can Cook, I Can Cook Vegan.
Yeah.
I like the title so much. It's like so creative, and yeah, if you see it, it's for most of the omnivore people think like many things aren't possible in vegan, and I think you have to get this out of the mind of the people. So what was your intention to write the book and to show it to the people, and what are your like 3 go-to recipes out of your book?
Good question. The book came about during lockdown. So we were slap bang in the middle of like being trapped in our houses when I got the book deal. And it became a very personal project because of that, because cookbooks are normally, you outsource everything. You outsource the recipe testing, you outsource the food photography, you outsource the food styling, the prop styling, everything. Because it was lockdown and I wanted to get this book done, we couldn't do that. And so I use that as an excuse, but also I'm a control freak, so I would have liked to have done everything myself too. But everything was done by me literally in my basement, in my house, like in the UK. So I got the props, I styled all of the food, I tested all the recipes, everything was as personal as could be. And so it made sense to me that the content of the recipes as well should be super personal. And it was at that stage in my vegan journey too, like 3 or so years in, where there were still a bunch of dishes that I really, really missed from pre-vegan. And I feel like a lot of people at that point in the sort of wave of veganism were in that same stage where they're missing these dishes that were part of their childhood or whatever. And I've also heard from a lot of people in being present online that like the main thing that puts them off being vegan is the idea that you have to say goodbye to like your food culture and what we're raised eating becomes so integral to our identity. And I think that's what scares people off a lot.
True.
Not the ethics of it, not the cost of it, not the health side of things. Like, it's the cultural sacrifices that come with like switching your diet. And so I wanted to prove that, like, with a bit of entertainment and a little bit of science as well, you can veganize basically anything. And so, yeah, it's very personal to me. The dishes in the book are very much dishes from my childhood. There's, to link back to your question, one of my favorite recipes in there is for a Manchester tart. And I was raised in the northwest of England where Manchester tart was dessert every day at school. So it comes as this great big tray, and it's like a tart. So it's pastry at the bottom, custard, like a set custard, vanilla custard, with jam underneath, like a raspberry jam underneath, and then coconut on the top. It's like classic school dinner, like comfort food that I haven't had since I was a kid. And as soon as I became vegan, I was like, oh, I guess I'm never going to have that again because it's so like dairy based. But it was super easy to veganize, and it's a delicious recipe. It's really good.
I see it in your eyes. You're like smiling when you're thinking about
food. Makes me so happy. Food always makes me so happy. So yeah, that's one of them. I guess if I have to list some of the other dishes in there, the fried egg is huge. I don't make it all the time, but it's because it's kind of a faff to do. But the fried egg was like a real win for me to say, like, yes, I can have a fried egg sandwich. I can have fried egg on like kimchi fried rice or something like that. I can use the fried egg in the same way. And then also because I'm such a dessert lover, there was, I call it in the book, Nanny Sadie's custard slice.
Okay.
So whenever I was sick of school as a kid, I used to go and stay with my nan, my grandma. And she would take me to this local bakery that did these custard slices, which is like 2 layers of puff pastry with custard in the middle and icing on the top. And they're just so indulgent and so delicious. And I always I think it probably incentivized me to fake being sick so I could get off school and go and eat custard slices with Nanny. Yeah. But yeah, that one is super nostalgic for me. So that's always got a place in my heart.
Amazing. Now I'm hungry. Everyone else there is hungry too. Even my camera guy looks hungry now. Yeah, great. Yeah. So, and like you said before, what are you doing? And I see this. It's your absolutely passion. You've done like your own thing before all the time. I think you're like this entrepreneur mind or startup mindset always. But how was it to start like an own business, like grow up on like Instagram, TikTok, all of these channels, and how was your journey? Because I asked this question. Yesterday I was at a show of Stephen Bartlett.
Oh yeah,
maybe not. Yeah. He's from UK too, like a podcaster, and he said like the first 3 years. He had no money. It was just hustle. And he always thought, okay, I'm so broke. I have to give everything up and stuff. And after this, it went up. How was it with your journey? And how was the beginning and how is it now?
It was kind of... A lot of it was kind of unintentional. So I never really intended to be like a creator, like an Instagram creator. Like I said before, I started Schoolnightvegan for myself, really, to make sure that I could log the recipes that I was creating for myself and for my family. It was such a sort of brain switch to go vegan. Like I needed to write stuff down in order to remember it. And then I guess a bunch of people just started following and it sort of went from there. But there were some tricky points where basically prior to being vegan, when I was running my ice cream company, the reason I closed the ice cream company was A, it wasn't vegan and it was really difficult to make vegan ice cream in a way that I felt, proud to serve or whatever. And B, it was incredibly time consuming, emotionally hard work, exhausting, just running a physical food business in London. The aspects that I loved about it were the recipe development, the branding, the sort of creation of like online identity. I sort of grew quite a big following at the time. My company was called Blue Top. And I spent a lot of time thinking, what can I transition to career-wise that uses the bits that I loved of that career and leaves the bits behind, the sort of mass production, the waking up at 4 a.m. every day to go and make ice cream, you know, rocking up in a truck in like 45 degrees Celsius and scooping ice cream all day, the back pain. Oh my God, the back pain.
I believe you're big and you stand always
bent
like this,
over
right?
in this tiny van. And so it sort of made sense to me that I could take the recipe development side of things, the branding side of things, the online presence side of things, and use those as like the center point of what my new career should be. The thing that I found hardest in terms of like monetization was trying to find a model for myself outside of the like creator influencer thing that happens on Instagram so often now. And I didn't want to sell products on Instagram. That was never my vibe, and no shade to anyone who does that. That takes a huge amount of work, and I have a lot of respect for people that make that work as their main gig. But for me, it was I just found it exhausting, and like working with brands who often outsourced their help and their connection with influencers to agencies, external agencies, it just meant that you never had any relationship with the brands that you were working with, and you were never the client, you were the product, and it was just kind of soul destroying. So very early on in my Instagram sort of life, I decided not to do any branded content unless I really had a relationship with the brand. Like with the Getaway Co, with this company, I know Amanda well, who runs the Getaway Co. I believe in this company. I do these trips. If I wasn't attending these trips as a creator, I would be paying for a spot on these trips. They're incredible. So I think what I looked to instead of using Instagram as my main revenue stream was my blog. I love food writing. I love writing about food. I love talking about food. I love thinking about food. And that was a space to do it without sort of being held accountable by brands that I was tied to. And so I put a lot of effort into my blog very early on in terms of like SEO, making sure that I'm at the top of Google for vegan lasagna, vegan chicken, all of this sort of stuff. And it paid off. I mean, I got there slightly ahead of the curve. And I've been there long enough now that Google hopefully trusts me and they like me. But I also just started a Substack in the last like year and a half, where what I found was that by running a food blog, I ended up having to write in a way that appeased Google and made sure that I was sort of visible to Google. And as we all know, scrolling through ads on a food blog is kind of exhausting. And I understand that. Please don't hate me for having to do that on my recipes. But that's my main source of revenue. But Substack is different because obviously it's subscriber-based. It's kind of like Patreon, where you find someone who you like and you subscribe to their work directly rather than relying on an algorithm to show you what you want to see. And I'm lucky enough that I have a platform now via Instagram or via my blog to send people to Substack, and people have been incredibly loyal, incredibly supportive. And my content there is even more personal because I can say what I want. I don't have to write in a sort of SEO-friendly manner. And so the recipes there are super niche, really based on like seasons and what I'm eating at the time in real time. And so, yeah, that's my thing right now. That's where I'm putting most of my effort.
That's so cool. I like this idea because, to be honest, to do this podcast, we have to do like partnerships, and I'm really picky what partnerships I do. So if like, like the big brands come and which are like slaving animals or children or everything, I say goodbye. But yeah, it's hard to run a business at the start. For people, and I like the idea that you do it with Substack, so the people support your work directly,
right?
And you are not like the platform has to support, or you support the platform, and and the niche part was really smart too. But what I asked myself, when people or listeners here or people watch this and want to do like not the same, but be inspired, like to do something, do you have like 3 tips for them when they want to start now, like something like content creation or food blogging or something like this?
Yeah, I mean, a sort of overarching spiritual piece of advice would be don't be afraid of reinvention. I think people often feel tied down in their lives and sort of trapped in their career or their relationships or whatever, because we feel like we owe consistency to our past selves and to the person we promised we would be.
Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And I think that's good in a sense, to sort of have consistency and to know who you are and to carry that through whatever you do. But at the same time, if that's holding you back, if your fear of becoming somebody different and becoming somebody new or trying something different or trying something new is holding you back, then you're not serving anybody. Yeah. So don't be afraid of reinvention. I left university with a linguistics degree and worked in linguistics in San Francisco. And that was where I discovered street food. And at first I was afraid to leave linguistics behind, but I was like, I don't care about linguistics the way I care about food. Like I'm not, this is what's driving me emotionally. And that's how I got into making ice cream in London. And that's how I got into Schoolnightvegan.
Hey, nochmal kurzer Reminder, unbedingt bei Surplus vorbeischauen. This is Vegan 15, 15% sparen und was Gutes tun.
So everything has a pivot point that you can take something you've learned and use it in a different way as reinvention. So my first tip is don't be afraid of reinvention.
Okay, good to know.
Specifically towards like food blogging and content creation and all of that sort of stuff. Do you know how they always say like drug dealers don't use their own supply, like they don't take the drugs themselves? The biggest thing that I did in the last few years is to stop using Instagram. I don't scroll on Instagram. I don't even really have the app on my phone a lot of the time. And that's partly because I like to make sure that the content I'm putting there isn't influenced by the trends of the time and what people are putting out there, because there's no way you can keep up with that. Like that changes so quickly. And I find that you produce content that has like a feeling of desperation to it if you're trying to like jump on board some sort of train. So I try and keep my inspiration, source my inspiration from elsewhere other than Instagram. So like, at least control the amount of time you spend on there. You know, use an app like Opal to make sure you're only doing like an hour a day or something like that, or just delete it, get rid of it. But yeah, my third piece of advice would be just to think about what it is that makes you happy, like what it is that inspires you, and create your content around that rather than trying to mimic stuff that you've seen online, elsewhere, or whatever. I think I don't love the algorithm structure of Instagram right now, but at least what it does is highlight people with niche interests, and you can gain quite a lot of exposure by having a really niche interest and sort of being quirky and really leaning into the stranger parts of your identity. So don't be afraid to do that, because the algorithm and the way that it works often rewards that sort of stuff. But so yeah, just be yourself, do something weird.
That's cool. That's so cool that you say this. And even if you guys out there you are doing now something you hate, or even if it's okay, if you want to do this, just start it. I know it sounds like phrases, but it's he has done it, I have done it, many other people have done it. If it's your passion, just start it. Start it like as a side hustle. Start it on the weekend. Some when it pays out, not just financial, even for your brain, for your mindset, and if you can do something good for the animals, it's amazing too.
Exactly.
And
that's why I chose the name Schoolnightvegan, because as I was running my ice cream company, all of my time was spent running this business, being in the van, in my kitchen, making ice cream, whatever. And the only time I had to experiment with vegan food was in my school nights. So like midweek after like 6 p.m., I was cooking vegan food and just trying to get better at creating vegan recipes. And that was my window. A lot of people assume it means that I'm only vegan on school nights, which is not true. I'm vegan 100% of the time.
Yeah, good.
But that was my window for creativity. And so if you can find that slot to sort of invest your time, then do it. Do you know Matt Diavella? He's a YouTuber, a sort of minimalist YouTuber. Yes. And he posted a video years ago that was just called something like "Start Before You're Ready," and the whole point of it was, if you're a perfectionist, don't wait to be perfect at something before you officially launch what it is that you're trying to do. Start before you're ready. Start while you're bad. Like, make the bad recipes and publish them. Put them out there, because it's the failures that get you to a point where you're actually happy. If I look back at my early posts on Instagram, the food photography, it makes my toes curl. It's terrible. But I started before I was ready, and you practice and you get better in public, and that's great. That's how you sort of build an identity that's sort of well structured, and build a brand that's responsive. And so start before you're ready.
Okay, that's good. It's good to know, and that's an advice. I can give too. It's absolutely true. You said that you take your inspiration from the real world, and I think that's pretty good. But I think on all the time you've done this, were there people, like you told, like the YouTuber you told now, like which inspires you on the way, like on the business way, on the vegan way, on the personal way? Do you have some like idols or something like this, or some heroes, or is it just?
Yeah, I mean, the first ever vegan cookbook I bought was Lauren Toyota. Yeah. And she's a good friend now. And that was a huge part of the success of Schoolnightvegan was being brave enough to reach out to the people who inspired me.
Hey, kurze Bitte, wenn dir dieser Podcast gefällt, lass gerne ein Abo da, lass ein Like da, lass einen Kommentar da. Wenn du ihn auf Spotify oder Apple Podcasts hörst, lass auch gerne eine Bewertung da. Oder auf YouTube eine Kanalmitgliedschaft. Da gibt es immer so ein bisschen Behind-the-Scenes-Material, was es sonst nicht auf YouTube zu sehen gibt. Folge uns auch gerne auf Instagram, check unser Magazin. Ja, jetzt habe ich das volle Programm runtergerattert. Wünsche dir jetzt viel Spaß beim Weiterhören. Danke für deinen Support.
And not just ask for their advice, but to sort of try and become actual friends with these people. And it worked. I mean, I was in Atlanta, and I saw that Lauren was doing a cookbook signing also in Atlanta at the time, which was just fate, right? Like I hadn't stalked her, I promise. And so I just went to her cookbook signing. I baked some cakes. I took them as a gift, and we just got on. I sort of knew we would. You know, everyone has those podcasters or YouTubers that you listen to or watch, and you think, we'd be good friends. I can tell this. We'd be good friends. Lauren's YouTube account, I was like, I'd be pals with her, definitely 100%. I was right, and we hung out. We went to a gay bar that night, and it was so much fun. But yeah, sometimes I think the fear of putting yourself out there can stop you from. I've actually forgotten what the question was. You were asking about idols and inspiration.
Idols and heroes,
Yeah. So Lauren was a huge influence. Her cookbook was massive to me. Her YouTube was huge to me. And so I'm really grateful that she's now like a big part of my life. She does these trips with the Getaway Co as well. I've never really thought of what I do as like running a business. And particularly in the last like year or so, I wouldn't say there was anyone necessarily that particularly inspired this decision, but I've chosen to like pull back, like to do less. And I think there's a huge like grind culture at the moment of like putting in as much energy as you can into everything. And it made me sick for a while. Like I was becoming a real workaholic where like I'd clock out at the end of the day and just have no headspace for myself. I'd be like doing socials on the couch while I was exhausted. And I'm 38 now, so I need to slow down, and I've tried to pull back on that front and just do less. And there's a lot of other creators that I feel like are doing that online at the moment. And Instagram, particularly is like squeezing so much out of creators,
Sure.
and you get nothing back in return.
Yeah.
So again, I've gone off on a complete tangent. And I can't give you any more idols.
That's absolutely cool. Shout out to Roran. I interviewed her last year here. If you want to see it, you will find it in the description. She's amazing. She has good YouTube channel, not podcast, but like cookbooks and everything like this. Absolutely check her out. She's such a lovely person. She's really nice.
Also, I should say Amanda, who runs the Getaway Co.
Yes, for sure.
Like, I've never known somebody with so much focus and so much intention behind what she does.
True.
And she's an incredible businesswoman. She really believes in her company. But at the same time, there's a huge ethical motivation behind what she does. And it's not, I think a lot of vegan businesses that popped up in the last like 10, 15 years, they saw that veganism was becoming profitable, and it became something that sort of they latched their business onto as like because of the momentum of veganism. Yeah. But Amanda's very different. Like, she lives and breathes veganism, and she's so passionate about animal welfare and stuff, which is why we're doing this event today. And so, yeah, to see how seamlessly she's like interwoven her ethics and her professional drive, it's really inspiring. So yeah, shout out to Amanda as well.
Shout out to Amanda. Amanda, we have to do a podcast tour. We'll do this in future.
She's just had a baby, which is why she's not here. She gets some time off. She deserves it.
Okay, absolutely. But after this, we will do this again. If I think about my normal day, it's like wake up early because I adopted a puppy. I'm here in Bali.
Oh, cute.
She's now 5 months old. We found her when she was 2 weeks old.
Oh.
But she wakes up at 5.
Right.
So I wake up at 5
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But it's
I know
okay.
the feeling.
It's okay. I love her. Suki is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I do like video editing, like too much social media. You inspired me to do it less now.
Definitely, everyone needs to do less.
Yes, and I mean, I'm in Bali. I have to see the world.
Sure.
Go outside, go to like boxing classes and do some sports. And yeah, what I asked myself, you said before, like you had like really hard days before, but now you switch it off a little bit. How does a normal day in your life look like, and what are your workflows?
Right. I too get up very early. It did start because of my dog as well. She gets up early too. But then I took it I said, I can get up earlier than you. And so I started getting up at like 4 a.m., which was insane. Now it's probably closer to 5, something similar to what you do. But I get up, I feed the dog. I tend to go straight to the gym. I have a lot of coffee before that. I'm an absolute caffeine addict, I'm afraid. But I will go to the gym and work out. It's a huge part of life for me, and it's something that became more and more important after I had like a back injury a few years ago. And I didn't realize, I never put 2 and 2 together, that sort of preventatively you can look after your back by doing more exercise. I always thought that you raised your risk of back pain by doing exercise, but it's the opposite. And so I became totally addicted to mostly strength training in the gym. So I do a lot of that. And then I'll come home. I will either walk the dog or eat some breakfast, depending on whether my partner has walked the dog already. But we take turns. And then I'll start the day of work. Usually this will mean I tend to split my time with basically about 2 days of recipe development per week, and then 2 days of like the stuff around recipe development. So like editing photos, writing blog posts, writing my Substack, all of the extra stuff that goes into that. So I'll have 2 days in the kitchen and 2 days at the computer, essentially. If it's a kitchen day, it tends to be kind of chaotic, which is sometimes the best way to do things. And I will usually be developing recipes these days because of Substack on what I want to eat, what I actually want to eat at that point. So it's kind of intuitive. I've been doing a lot of desserts recently because we're getting into winter, and that just involves me being in the kitchen basically all day. I have a camera that I will set up in the morning just to take pictures of the process and also the final product. And if it's a computer day, I tend to just sit. I have this like manual like kitchen timer basically that I sort of set near my computer, and I'll put it on for 40 minutes, and I'll do 40 minutes of work, and then I'll go and do something else, anything else, laundry, go for a walk the dog or whatever for like 20 minutes, half an hour, just to like break the time up. And it feels really frustrating when it goes off because I'm often like mid-flow, but it's so important. You really have to, and some of your best ideas come while you're not working.
True.
So yeah, that's the sort of, I'm definitely not diagnosed with ADHD, but I have a huge tendency to lose focus if I'm not careful. And so that's one of the ways that I sort of dial in and put some structure into my day.
I absolutely understand this. I'm diagnosed with ADHD, and for me, it's like, since I have the dog, before I was like hyper focusing and doing, and my brain was like, do.
Yeah.
And now when I have to go out, I do like my stretching because I had back pain too, like you.
Yeah.
So, and this is so important. I do it like all two hours. But it gives you a new mood. You see like outside, like the trees and the nature and like fresh air. It's so important. Even if you guys have like a really hard job and your boss you have to hustle, don't do it like this because it's not good for you. It's not good for your boss. It's not good for the company. But the most important, it's not good for you. Yeah.
And I think if you obviously as well, if you work for somebody else, the company you work for or whatever, oftentimes their goal is to capitalize on that hyper focus and to keep you there as much as possible. And you have to be your own advocate in that situation. You have to make sure that you're demanding what you need in order to do the work that you're supposed to be doing. And yeah, I mean, I worked lots and lots of office jobs prior to making my transition into food. And I can remember just sitting there at the computer all day, taking my lunch at the computer all day long, and then being confused why I felt like crap at the end of the day and why I had actually achieved nothing. I just like read the entire of BuzzFeed in that day. And it's just like, well, of course, like it's such a synthetic environment to exist in. Yes. My office didn't even have any like windows in it. So I had no natural light. Like it was bad. So if you're in a position to be able to, customize your workflow and customize your working environment and stuff like that, do it. Take control over it. True. It's important.
True. Yeah. We talked before a little bit about like who influenced you like in your life. But now let's get back to, I mean, like over 500,000 people follow you. Sometimes, do you still have this in mind? Like some days, because it's like a crazy amount of people. And what was like the most inspiring or the most beautiful story from like a community member you ever interacted with?
I don't think about follower numbers much anymore. I used to, and that sort of obsessive part of my character fixated on that for a very long time. And it became very attached in the way that I'm sure a lot of people do to my identity and my sense of self-worth. Like if this is my career and I only have 1,000 followers, like what is it that I'm doing? Like how can I be successful with? And it's this arbitrary metric that doesn't really translate to anything. If you're working with brands, they're way more interested in engagement than they are with follower numbers, or at least they should be.
They should.
And it just felt like there was a point in the journey of Schoolnightvegan where I think it was around the time that like video content started to be prioritized by Instagram, and the sort of TikTokification of Instagram started to happen, where like it was less about community, it was less about the people that you follow. Your feed on Instagram suddenly was being infiltrated by like algorithmic suggestions.
Sure.
You know, they're like, we think you'll like this content about, you know, cornbread or whatever. And it was interesting to see it happen in real time, because as a creator, suddenly the people on my page were people who hadn't chosen to be there. They were people who had found my content on their feed and suddenly felt very, you know, like shocked to see vegan content on their feed because potentially they weren't vegan or whatever. And it just changed the way that engagement happened, and it changed the way that people spoke to me online, and it changed the number of like hate comments I got online and all of that sort of stuff. And at that point I realized that like I was the product of Instagram. I'm not a user anymore, I'm a product of Instagram. And that was when I started to step back from using Instagram myself. And also when I stopped sort of focusing on follower numbers, because it's not important. Obviously I'm insanely grateful that many people follow me, but at the same time it's very difficult to reach those people now. It's very difficult to sort of, if you look at your stats, you see how few members of your community have actually seen each piece of content that you've put out there. It's soul destroying. It's really hard. So I try not to focus on follower numbers. I don't really think about it that much anymore. It goes up, it goes down. That's life. I would try to, if I'm giving advice to someone, just focus on the community aspect of things. Focus on building a community of people who care about the stuff that you care about. And so in terms of like the stories that I hear from people, it happens every day. The amount of, first of all, the explosion of serotonin that I get when someone even messages to say like, I've used one of your recipes and it worked. That's like, because I'm so anxious that I'm in this position of trust. Like we've all done it. We've Googled recipes for half an hour and then you settle on one and it doesn't work. It's horrible. Yes. And so I hate the thought that I could have created a recipe that didn't work for someone. So when I hear the positive stories from people about when they've used my recipes, that changes everything. And also when I hear about, you know, people who've made the decision to eat more plant-based because of the stuff that I do. The book was a turning point in that sense, because obviously it's in all bookshops, right? Like it's not just in vegan spaces, it exists in all bookshops. And so I get people saying I received this as a gift from my grandma for Christmas or whatever because she thought I'd enjoy it, and now I'm a vegan. Like that is incredible. I'm not the kind of person to try and convert people to veganism. I'm not great at that. There are other people who are way better at that, so I've tapped out from doing that a long time ago. But to know that I've sort of led by example and I've put my joy of food out there and it has had like this positive net effect on the number of vegans that exist in the world, that makes me so happy. Always.
Amazing. Yeah. That's actually what you said now. It could be like the perfect end of the podcast, but but we have like four more So your journey, everything was really interesting, but I have some like fun questions at the end, like some thought experiments. So the one of the fun questions is, if you had to cook one vegan dish for the rest of your life, you just have this to eat, like 3-4 times per day, what would you decide and why?
I'm not just saying this because I'm in Bali, but something with tempeh. Okay. I am obsessed with tempeh. I, like most vegans, like I started my transition to veganism using a lot of the store-bought vegan plant-based meats, plant-based cheeses, dairy alternatives. And that's fine. Obviously, that works for so many people. But at this stage in my vegan journey, I'm relying a lot on tofu and tempeh for my protein. But also, tempeh is just so damn tasty. Like it's so, and especially here in Bali, the fresh stuff that's like wrapped in the banana leaf, and it's just incredible. It's so good for you. It's fermented. It's way high. It's like double the protein of tofu. And it's way less processed than tofu because it's full, you know, soybeans that are in there. So something with tempeh. I did a cooking demo yesterday as part of this getaway, and I did my take on like a pad krapao, like the Thai sort of stir-fried, I think it's beef. Traditionally, they use like stir-fried ground beef, but with loads of fresh Thai basil and loads of chili and tons of garlic. I think the recipe had like 6 cloves of garlic per person in it, like super heavy on the garlic, which is my thing.
Garlic is good, yeah.
But I use tempeh instead of beef. I grate the tempeh with a box grater, and it comes together in 15 minutes. Like it's ready so quickly, just with some steamed rice or something like that. And nutritionally, it's a powerhouse, and it's just so easy to make. So probably that. I could eat it every day.
Okay, cool. Now we know it. I hope that you have the opportunity to switch to more in your life, more to eat. But yeah, it was just like a fun question.
Yeah.
And the other thing is like, please let's do like a thought experiment. Think about you had to cook a vegan dinner for like a group of 3 people. You can decide who are the 3 people are, even like famous people, not famous people, alive, not alive.
Okay.
And my question is, who would you invite and why? And what would you cook for them?
Oh, gosh, that's a good question. One of those people would be my mum, because she's amazing. She's a vegan as well. She and my dad went vegan back in 2017 when I did too. And they're awesome. Like, they're mid-70s and they're in incredible shape, and they're way more vegan than I am now. Like, they were late to the switch in terms of like their life journey, but they're now way more, they're huge activists. And my mum is any vegan business that exists within like 100-mile radius of her, she'll go. She's at like a vegan hotel right now in the UK for like the 4th time this year or something. Amazing. She's great. But she's also just so fun. So she would be like the comedy of the dinner. She's great. She's very disarming. She's very funny. I would say my dad as well, because he's also incredible. But I don't want to take up 2 of the 3 people. It's just my family.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so mum would be there. Who else would be there? This is a really tough question.
It is.
Let's have someone. What about Pedro Pascal? You know the actor Pedro Pascal? He's in The Last of Us and loads of other TV shows. Basically, the internet is obsessed with him. He's beautiful. I feel like he's very ethically motivated.
Hey, kurze Bitte noch, wenn du den Kanal noch nicht abonniert hast, wenn du noch kein Like da gelassen hast, noch kein Kommi unten reingeschrieben hast und das Video noch nicht gehypt hast, würde ich dich bitten, das zu tun. Und wenn du uns supporten magst, lass auch gerne eine Kanalmitgliedschaft da, denn dadurch können wir das Projekt, den Podcast und alles, was sonst noch kommt, vorantreiben. Vielen Dank und jetzt viel Spaß beim Weiterschauen.
He's a queer ally. He's very supportive of like the trans community, so he's great. And also he's really hot, so it would be great if Pedro was there. Right. My mum would flirt with him probably more than I would, because I'm married, but there we go. Well, so she, but you know, she can get away with it.
That's okay.
And then who else? Maybe my dog? Can I say my dog?
You can.
As like an emotional support animal, just like me, my mom, and my dog, and Pedro Pascal. That's the
and now it's getting funny. What would you cook for all of them together?
Oh, God.
Everyone has to eat the same.
Oh God, what would the dog? My dog's called Ripley. She really loves tofu.
Okay.
Which is weird because she's not a vegan dog. But whenever I'm cooking, if I open a packet of tofu, she's there suddenly. So something with tofu. Maybe I would do something really indulgent. I have a recipe for a Philly cheesesteak sandwich on my blog that's made with like shaved tofu. Okay. So maybe we'll do that one. Ripley would get the tofu before it's been cooked and before it's marinated, because obviously that's bad for her. But yeah, maybe that one.
Okay.
And we all get messy and eat just a great big sandwich together. That'd be good.
That sounds really good. So yeah, you can do this. It's so funny. The most people I interviewed just said this question, like they will invite Jane Goodall, but but dog, no one said. I had like 74 podcast episodes at the moment, and no one said about his dog. So it's funny that you're
It's probably because I'm missing her so much because I'm in Bali.
I understand.
But But she's amazing. I mean, she's a little rescue dog from Cyprus. We got her at the start of lockdown in 2020, and like I couldn't have done it without her. Like I honestly wouldn't have been able to stay sane, I don't think. Just her getting me out for walks, and also the sort of long-term project of seeing her like acclimatized to living in a home for the first time and getting to know us. And she was a little scared of men when she first came over here, and now she loves everybody. She's the perfect dog. When I think about the fact that when we got her, she was 2 days away from being put down. She was in a pound in Cyprus, and the charity Underdog International connected us with her and brought her over to the UK and stuff. Shout out to Underdog. They're absolutely incredible. So yeah, why not have her at the dinner table? Absolutely. I miss her, and I spend literally, because I work from home, I spend all day with her. So yeah, she's coming.
I absolutely understand this. Even Suki, our dog, like I said before, we have her like since 5 months. We've been 3 weeks ago at a wedding. It was not in Bali, and we've been there for like 1 week. And she was at friends of us have like a dog sitting thing here, and they had to send every day like pictures and videos. We are so obsessed with this little dog because it's like a family member now. I absolutely understand how you feel.
They're people.
Yeah, they are. So the last thought experiment. Let's imagine you were a politician for 1 day. Yeah, I know it's getting hard right now.
I'd rather not.
And you have the power to change absolutely everything you want, but you have to break it down to just one thing. Oof. I know it's really, really rough. What would you do?
Oh man, wow, that's a really tough one. I mean, in the UK, the political climate right now is pretty dire. It's pretty treacherous. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of people who need the support of politicians more than they did ever before. This is not necessarily a vegan answer, but I feel like in terms of protecting people in the UK, I think the most marginalized and at risk people in the UK at the moment are trans people. Yeah. And their rights are being stripped away right before our eyes. It's happening in the US as well, and often we go down the same path as the US. And I feel like maybe I would regret not saying that I would prioritize trans people at the moment, because I think it's the civil rights fight of our generation to protect trans people. Sure. And I think there's going to become hopefully a point in the future when we look back and we say, why didn't we all do more about that? Why didn't we all do more? Obviously, I feel strongly about loads of different things too. I would want to do stuff to protect people in Palestine. I would want to do stuff to protect animals, change the laws about factory farming, all of that sort of stuff. But as a priority right now, I have so many trans friends who are terrified to exist just in the world. And I'd like to use whatever that imaginary power is to try and protect those people.
Absolutely. Maybe when it's just like one of your words which inspires like people which watching this and make like a minds with about their rough thinking or their hate speech or everything. Even for this. So yeah, you hear it.
I think it's the same thing that happened to vegans, to try and make this connection in a very sort of loose way, is that fear has been weaponized against all of us in so many ways, whether it's due to your race, your religion, your gender, your sexuality, what you choose to eat as a vegan. People fear change, and politicians generally and people in power can use that so easily to direct where you think the risk is in your life, and therefore win votes, or therefore win power, or therefore make more money, or whatever. And I think what's happening to trans people is exactly that. It's exactly what's happening to immigrants in the UK right now. We're being told that they are what we should be fearing from every angle, every newspaper, every politician, immigrants and trans people are what we should fear because they are changing our way of life, rather than the fact that billionaires are paying zero tax and they're the reason why we, it's more difficult to get a job, it's more difficult to buy a house or pay rent or anything.
Yes.
So yeah, I think if I had to say a more general answer, it would be to prevent other politicians from using fear as a weapon, because it's toxic.
Absolutely true, and it's all over the world. And don't spread like this bad feelings for humans. That's and animals for sure.
Sure.
At the end of the podcast, I asked all my guests. We have our plant-based playlist on Spotify, and everyone has the opportunity to do 2 of his or her best songs, which she likes. And what are your favorite songs? Do you have like a personal story about them? Maybe?
Ooh, weird question, because maybe I'll do the song that's like on heavy rotation right now, and the song that's my like maybe all-time favorite.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So heavy rotation right now is Here All Night by Demi Lovato.
Okay.
It's her latest single. And it's just such a bop. Like, it's so fun to listen to. I listened to it in the gym, listened to it walking the dog. I was going to sleep last night and it was just on loop in my mind. It's great. I'm sure I'll regret saying that in 2 weeks when it's sort of like played out, but...
You can send me one more then.
It's good. It's a good song. It's an incredible pop song. But probably my like favorite historical pop song is Raised on Robbery by Joni Mitchell. I forget which album it's from, but it's so joyous and exciting. And when I listen to it, I just feel like I'm sort of dancing around a kitchen. Like, it's dancing in the kitchen music. Okay. And it's just kind of very much of its time. I love Joni Mitchell generally. She's such an inspiration. And I think maybe they're a nice little back-to-back listen, even though they're from like 50 years, 60 years apart. But it's a great pop song. Cool. Both are great pop songs.
I will put them on the list. So thank you very much. And
thank you.
And at the end, is there anything you want to say to the listeners or viewers, or something you have in mind? Something, just go for it, spread it out.
Gosh, first of all, go vegan if you can, and if you have the means to, go vegan. Check out the Getaway Co. They are an incredible company, and if you're looking for a vacation for next year, my next getaway with the Getaway Co. is to Greece in October of 2026. Okay. But there are loads of other destinations. They're going to Norway, they're going to Japan, they're going to all sorts, Italy, Croatia. And also, I have a book coming out next year, another cookbook. So keep your eyes peeled for it. It's as yet untitled, but it's all about easy. It maybe should just be called Schoolnightvegan, because that's exactly what it is. Easy midweek dinners that you can make in less than 25 minutes. And it's going to come out in spring, early summer of next year.
Okay, good to know. Now we are hyped for your new cookbook. Thanks a lot for being on my podcast.
Thank you, Yannick. Thank you for having me.
And I'm looking forward to eat now, to cuddle the puppies.
Cuddle the puppies.
Good time.
Oh my God.
Thank you very much, mate.
Thanks, Yannick.
Thank you.